Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos. So the big question is, do you think David De Gea should be dropped? Because I've heard quite a few Manchester United fans, saying that David De Gea should be dropped and that Romero should be given a chance. And Romero obviously, usually gets his chances in like the Europa League or the Carabao Cup. Of course, David De Gea had made a bad mistake that had led to Watford's first goal on last weekend and that. And he made quite a few mistakes earlier on in the season, but he's replicating what he did towards the back end of last season, De Gea, because he made quite a lot of mistakes towards the back end of last season. You can still say that David De Gea is still one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Obviously, he's been a long servant at Manchester United. He's enjoyed 8 seasons at the club. He is now into his ninth season at Manchester United. So he has now nearly been here a decade. And I think he's made, is it 400 appearances or is it over 400 appearances he's now made in all competitions for Man United. We have got quite a few goalkeepers. Obviously, David De Gea is our first choice goalkeeper, Sergio Romero is our second choice keeper, and of course Lee Grant is our third choice goalkeeper. David De Gea, of course, has been here since the Alex Ferguson era. He's obviously won everything here domestically. He's won the Smack Buzzer Player of the Year 4 times out of the last 6 seasons, is it something like that, reflecting on his impressive performances. But analysing it, I think you can say David De Gea's had a good 7.5 years out of the 8 years he has been Man United, but hasn't been to his potential best in the last year or so. Obviously, he's on a substantial amount of the club as well. Don't forget, he did sign a new long-term contract in the summer, and he's on around 375 grand a week. So he is the highest paid goalkeeper in the world, because initially he was on 200 grand a week, but he signed a new contract and he had been given around £175,000 pay rise. So maybe David De Gea, should be dropped, and maybe we should, give Sergio Romero the chance. Maybe I will agree with some of our fans on that aspect. But I've got to say, I was very disappointed with the result against Watford. Very disappointing. And I think going into the Newcastle game, we've got to see a total comparison performance, to what we saw against Watford. Solskjaer give his more overarching view on the game, and he says he accused our players of treating the game like a testimonial. This is what Solskjaer said, and he was saying it was very slow. There was no tempo, there was no emergency in the team, and I thought the first half, especially was very poor. The only positive I took out of the game against Watford, was Paul Pogba's return, because I thought Paul Pogba looked very good when he came on. I think when he came on, he created around 3 chances in that. But obviously, he's going to be playing in the game against Newcastle on Boxing Day. Is Paul Pogba. But he's the only positive, really. He's Pogba. That was the first game he played in, since September, because obviously he was out with an ankle injury for over 3 months. Obviously recently, got ill. Don't forget, did Paul Pogba. I still probably am very convinced that Pogba will still be at the football club in January, because Solskjaer is said that he will not be sold in January anywhere. Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, insists that his client wants to stay at the club to win major honours. But he feels as though, from his perception, that Manchester United need to support Paul Pogba more. But for the entirety of the summer transfer window, he was relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid. Obviously there was rumours about him, possibly making a return back to Turin, because he did enjoy 4 good years in Turin. But Paul Pogba revealed at the beginning of the summer that he wanted to leave Manchester United, and he was seeking for a new challenge. But we do know how much of an imperative player he is, and Solskjaer said, when he's at his best, he's one of the best midfielders in the world. I thought also Juan Mata did well when he came on in the game against Watford. But yeah, it was an absolute embarrassment from our perspective, losing to bottom of the league. Watford, of course, have enjoyed a very bad start to this season. That their win against us on Sunday was only their second win of the Premier League season out of 18 Premier League games. It was actually their first win at home. But to be fair, they seem to have rejuvenated themselves since Nigel Pearson took over. I think that was only his second game in charge of Watford. Obviously Nigel Pearson is Watford's third manager this season. Because don't forget, not too long ago, Watford attacked Sanchez Flores. But Watford, fully deserved the victory. The fully deserved it, so I did credit them for that. But like I said, two of the goals did come from two individual mistakes. First one from De Gea, that led to Sarr's goal. And obviously, the second one from Wan-Bissaka, it was a Stonewall penalty. But yeah, I was very, very disappointed. Obviously Watford is still facing a relegation battle, and it's probably more than likely that they could still go down there this season. But we have to start getting wins under our belt, and now we are 7 points behind top four. And I did say, didn't I, recently, because we was in a pretty decent run of form, because prior to the Watford game, we was unbeaten in our last 6 games in all competitions, and if we'd have beaten Watford or avoided defeat, we would have extended our unbeaten run to 7th. But yeah, I was, at one point, well, not too long ago, that I thought top 4 was still on, because obviously, Chelsea have been slipping up in that in recent weeks. But obviously, Chelsea beat Tottenham at the weekend by 2-0 now. Reflecting on that, I think, I'm very, very sceptical that we are going to get that top 4, because I did initially say at the start of this season that our expectations this season will be to finish in that top 4, so we can obviously get Champions League football. Like I said, there's 2 routes we can get Champions League football, and that's either finishing in the top 4 or, of course, winning the Europa League. And the positive is, we are into the knockout stages of the Europa League. Obviously, we won Group L, so I think it's more imminent that we'll actually win the Europa League rather than get that top 4. Don't forget, Solskjaer was recently spoken about the importance of us lifting trophies in that, because we have that silverware in the last 6 or 7 years at least. But I think the only chance we've got of winning any silverware this season is probably the Carabao Cup. I think if we can beat Manchester City, then I think we can actually win the Carabao Cup. I think we're actually good enough to win the Europa League, definitely. But we're not in that commanding position that we should be in. Like I said, we're 8th in the league. We've only registered 25 points from 18 league games, and we know that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. So this is actually not the lowest position we've ever been at this stage in the Premier League era. And where we've enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for just over 30 years. I think the last time we had as bad a start to a season was back under the Ron Atkinson era, like I mentioned before. This was before the Alex Ferguson era, And so I think Solskjaer's getting a lot of things wrong. Like I've said, I've got some element of concerns about him. Don't get me wrong, some aspects of me I do credit him, but I think we just need to stop going with the 4-2-3-1 formation, because we have been going with that formation on a regular basis this season, and we do know it hasn't been working out. Obviously, we've tried a few different formations. Obviously, we've gone with 3 at the back a couple of times. I think maybe we should try the 4-3-3, like we did do, in that 3-month period, when Solskjaer was the interim manager. We need to stop going with that 4-2-3-1 formation. We need to maybe go with a system to avoid, using a number 10 and that, because it isn't working that 4-2-3-1 and that. So maybe if we could try the 4-3-3, something like that. So we do need a change of formation. And I've said, for the vast majority of this season, Solskjaer has been tactically naive. These some games where we have showed a lot of tactical flexibility. For me, Solskjaer doesn't have like a style of play. He doesn't really have a plan B, and you can say that's an element of concern. I think he also relies on his kids too much, but I think you can say that's a positive because he's got a lot of faith in his young upcoming players. Solskjaer did say at the start of this season that the young players would get given their opportunities this season. But he did initially confirm anywhere when he first got recommended into the football club that everybody will get their chances to express themselves, and that's exactly what's happened. But yeah, I don't think the kids are good enough at the moment. But I think there'll be quite a lot of young players that do become a success at Manchester United. I do actually believe that Greenwood will do well, Brandon Williams will do well, so will Tuan Zebe, James Garner, because they've all done well this season. We've seen glimpses of how good they can be. I think we need to consider, getting rid of some of the young upcoming players next year. And if we could do that, that would be a good piece of business from the football club. But I think in general, anyway, we've got to get rid of another 4 or 5 more players at least, because he's still problematic players at the football club. And obviously a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. A lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. But yeah, so he does rely on the kids too much. And for me, Solskjaer, isn't the long-term solution for Man United and that. And, Solskjaer has now, of course, been at Manchester United for a year. Obviously, he's been a permanent manager for 9 months, and obviously analysing the vast majority of that 9 months, he's endured really a difficult time in comparison to his time when he was the interim manager, because like I said, he did really, really well in that 3-month period. He won his first 8 games, he won 14 out of 19 in all competitions, and then obviously, he had been given the job in March early on this year. Don't forget, he's got a 3-year contract worth around £7.5 million a year. And I think one of the mistakes Man United did make was giving him the job. We should have actually never give him the job. But now Solskjaer is into his 2nd year as a Manchester United manager. He's aware that he's got many expectations to exceed, but I think the expectations are too high for him at Manchester United anywhere. And for me, Solskjaer hasn't got any intuition on how to manage. He hasn't really got that pedigree in terms of management. It's totally comparison to as he was as a player, because I thought he was a fantastic player for Man United, but just don't think he's good enough as a manager. But like I said, whether his managerial tenure at the football club works out or not, we'll never forget what he has done for the football club. So take that into account, and that we'll never forget what he's done for the football club. And don't forget recently yeah, so recently, Solskjaer celebrated his 1-year anniversary at the football club and that, and but yeah, I can assure that he will not be seeing out his 3-year contract at Man United, but I still believe he will be here in January. He will be here at the end of the season, because we're determined to give him at least a couple more windows to see who else he can recommend in to the football club and that. And the club are willing to give him at least a couple more windows to see who else, of course, he can recommend in, because he's still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. Solskjaer in total has managed 57 games in the Premier League, like I told you yesterday. 18 of his games he managed at Cardiff, 39 of his games obviously not being at Man United, and his record is really, really bad. He's won 21, he's drawn 14, and of course he has lost 22, so his record is really, really bad as a manager. But just don't think he's good enough for Manchester United. And we've done really, really well against elite opposition this season, but we just haven't replicated it against lower opposition. We've dropped too many points this season. I think we've lost too many games. We've drawn too many games. We've lost we've lost 5 games this season. Lost to Watford, lost to Newcastle, lost to Bournemouth, lost to West Ham, lost to Palace at home. Shouldn't have lost any of them games. We've drawn 7 games. Should have beaten Sheffield United. We should have beaten Villa. We should have beaten Everton. We should have beaten Wolves. We should have beaten Southampton. So these are the type of games that Manchester United should be winning. But it wasn't too long ago. We're beating Man City 2-1 at the Etihad. We're beating Tottenham at home 2-1. You can say them 2 games saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure at the football club. We're beating Leicester 1-0 early on in the season. We're beating Chelsea at the beginning of the season by 4 goals to 0. So we are capable of beating anybody on the day. But we just got to improve against the lower opposition, and that's all. And I did say, didn't I, at the start of this season, that I expected us to enjoy a better season this season than what we saw last season, because last season was a huge disappointment. Finished 6th. Obviously, failed to win many silverware, but we're actually enjoying a worse season this season than what we saw last season. Obviously, due to our inconsistency. Solskjaer is not accountable for all of it. He's accountable for some of it. I think we need to. I think everyone needs to take responsibility. Some of the players are responsible. I think Ed Woodward is responsible. He's been a liability for several years. I think also the board are the same. I think the vast majority of the blame stems from the board, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think we need to see a variety of changes at the football club. I think we need to get rid of our board. We need to get rid of Ed Woodward. We need to recommend a new board. We need to recommend a new chairman in. Obviously more signings are needed at the club. Like I said, more players need to go. I think, we need to, get new coaching staff in. We need to change of management. So, yeah, we need to see a variety of changes at the football club, because I don't like the way the football club has been run anywhere in the last 6 or 7 or 8 years. And, taking into account Solskjaer is inheriting a pretty decent squad, because we have got a lot of good players, reflects on the amount of money that's been invested into the football club over the years in all the managerial eras since the Ferguson era. I think around 600 or is it 700 odd £million. I'm going to estimate this because I don't know what it is fully, but that's what I'm estimating what we spent. It's something like that anywhere. And, that's what we spent under Moyes, Van Gaal and Jose Mourinho, and that's disregarding what was spent under Alex Ferguson. And it's also including what was spent under Solskjaer during the summer, because we spent nearly £150 million during the summer on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and on Harry Maguire. And like I said, they've all enjoyed fantastic starts to their Man United careers, and they've been our best players so far this season. You can say the 3 signings that we recommended in. I think Daniel James has been a revelation. I think Wan-Bissaka's been fantastic. I think he's the type of player we can rely on. And I think Bissaka, will be our right back for the next decade. And you can say that Maguire has addressed our defensive deficiencies. Maguire is totally comparison to the likes of Laporte and Virgil van Dijk, but he's still in that top 5 as one of the best centre-halves in the world. I think Lindelof and him have complemented each other in our backline well. I think recently, Lindelof's been below par. So maybe some Man United fans will say maybe we should try and recommend another centre-half in that can play alongside Harry Maguire. But like I said, the 3 signings have done really, really well. But like I said, it's not long now until the January transfer window opens. it's less than 2 weeks now. I'm looking forward to the January transfer window. Solskjaer recently assured that it isn't guaranteed that we'll make any signings in January. I think we're looking to bring around 2 or 3 players in. But it's very imperative that we do address the deficiencies in the squad next year. The 2 priority areas where Man United need to strengthen up is that midfield. We need an attacking midfielder. We also need a defensive midfielder. And, we also need a couple of strikers. We need someone to come in who can score goals, someone who can create chances. I think we need a right winner, and there's possibly no other areas in the squad as well that do need to be addressed, definitely. I was reading up reports the other week, and it said that Solskjaer is going to get a spending spree of around £250 million, to spend on rebuilding the club. And I think probably £250 million is enough for us to get the right number of players in. I think we could probably get around 4 or 5 players for £250 million. There again, it's dependent on how we are with our recruitment, and we're going to be sensible with it, or are we going to overpay for players, and that is the question. But yeah, like I said, there is a lot of players on our agenda. But we've got to get the right calibre players into the football club anyway to get us back to being a competitively level football club. Obviously, our number one priority target is Erling Haaland from Red Bull Salzburg. Now, he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Now, I've just been reading reports this morning, and it did say we are prepared to offer him a substantial £200,000 a week contract, to recommend him in to the football club. Now, don't forget, not too long ago, this was prior to the Watford game, it was actually last Friday, there was reports saying that Erling Haaland had boarded a plane from Norway to Manchester. Solskjaer had reacted to this, and he actually denied this. He said, he was on he's on a Christmas holiday. A couple of weeks ago, Solskjaer flew to Austria. So too did Ed Woodward to meet up with Erling Haaland. To discuss a January transfer to Man United. And allegedly said he told Solskjaer that he wants to join Manchester United. It says recently as well that we may have to pay his agent Mini Raiola around £12 million to obviously recommend him in. But there's been a lot of clubs in for him. I think around 11 clubs have instructed their scouts to keep an eye on him, reflecting on his impressive performances. So Borussia Dortmund have been in for him. RP Leipzig have been in for him. Juventus have also expressed their interest. It wasn't too long ago that Erling Haaland had negotiations with Leipzig's representatives and Borussia Dortmund's representatives. But I think, according to reports, his transfer to Man United is very, very imminent, and it's looking likely he's going to be our first signing in January and our 4th signing overall under the Solskjaer era. I think it did say the other week he's going to cost us in the region of around £76 million, but reportedly then we'll have to loan him back to Red Bull Salzburg for the remainder of the season. I think the beneficial thing about us recommending Erling Haaland in is that, he's played under Solskjaer's guidance during his period with Mould, and Solskjaer is keen on reuniting with the player. Solskjaer was the one who gave him his debut at the age of 16, was it? He is now only at the age of 19. I think he's been a revelation this season for Red Bull Salzburg. He scored, 28 goals in 22 games in all competitions. And I would be excited about the prospect of him, coming in, because he can create chances, he can score goals. Probably do presume he can replicate at Man United what he has been doing with Red Bull Salzburg. But whether he comes to Man United or not, I still am very, very confident that either way he will be leaving Red Bull Salzburg. So hopefully we can get a deal over the line for Erling Haaland and that. Obviously Jadon Sancho is another one of our priority targets. Obviously James Maddison's been on our agenda. Sol Niguez from Atletico Madrid. So I think these type of players, probably would elevate Manchester United forward. But Solskjaer recently insisted that we can still attract players to the elite level. But Solskjaer's come out and said as well he will have his final say on the club's transfer policy, because he still wants to recruit young players to the football club, like he did do during the summer. Plus, we've got a lot of young players in the squad now at this present time. So we will see what happens. But like I've said on numerous occasions, we'll never be the team that we was under Alex Ferguson. Solskjaer won't invoke Ferguson's legacy to save him at Man United. to save him at Man United. And I don't think any manager, will replicate, what Alex Ferguson did. Even if Solskjaer was to be given another 3 or 4 years, I don't think, he would emulate into Alex Ferguson. And obviously, Ferguson did transform Solskjaer into a winner, but obviously, when we recommended it, Alex Ferguson in from Aberdeen back in 1984, Ferguson didn't win out his first 4 years, but look what he went and accomplished after that. Ferguson controlled the transfer policies, he controlled the contracts, developed a lot of young players. We won a total of 38 major honours under Alex Ferguson, so he was a dominant force under Ferguson. We had him for 26, 27 years. I think, the only mistake Ferguson did make was recommending David Moyes in. And I think the only main reason why I recommended Moyes in is because obviously, they were both Scottish. But, we've sacked 3 managers, since the Ferguson era. Moyes got sacked after 10 months. He enjoyed the shortest tenure with the football club. Obviously, Louis van Gaal got sacked after a year and a half, was it, something like that, despite the fact he won the FA Cup. And Jose Mourinho got sacked after 2.5 years. He's enjoyed the longest tenure with the football club since the Alex Ferguson era. And I give you the variety of reasons why, it didn't work out under the Jose Mourinho era and that, But the vast majority of these players are Jose Mourinho's, because Jose Mourinho recommended 11 players into the football club. Now Solskjaer is inheriting the vast majority of them. So really, we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers. But like I said, we just don't seem to have a style of play at the moment. Our brand of football isn't good enough, and we've got good players, like I said, but we're just not playing as a unit, and we're not working hard as a team. And when you're not doing that, it doesn't matter who you've got, and you could have the best players in the world if you're not playing as a unit, and that it isn't going to work out. But yeah, and I think, these some aspects of our game that have improved, to be fair. Maybe recently we have been creating chances. With certain players have rejuvenated themselves. I'm going to, be honest about that. I think Rashford's been in scintillating form this season. 14 goals so far this season. Rashford is now on 194 appearances for the football club in all competitions and scored 59 goals. So far Rashford has spent the entirety of his career with Man United. He's been a United player since the age of 7. He's been in the senior squad of us since 2016. Obviously now Rashford operates out wide because obviously now Martial plays in that number 9 role because, like I said, he seems to be more effective in that central position. You can say Martial does add more inspiration in that attacking third of the pitch. He helps the likes of Daniel James and Marcus Rashford. Martial wasn't too good though at the weekend. I think he's been good in the vast majority of the games he's played in this season, but I think he wasn't too good against Watford. Rashford wasn't too good against Watford. I don't think Lingard was too good against Watford either. I said recently, he's seen to have improved because he actually was poor early on in the season. McTominay and Fred, I think they've blended well together in our midfield of McTominay and Fred. I don't think there was too good against Watford, and I think they looked very exposed in that midfield. But prior to that, I think they've done really, really well. I don't know if Fred and McTominay are the long-term solutions for Man United, and I don't know if they can keep the consistency up, but I would still keep playing them on a regular basis because they have done well. But obviously now with Paul Pogba back, maybe Fred could find his appearances limited. I still believe though he should get his opportunities and all that. And Good news is as well, we have got players coming back from injury. Pogba's come back now. Bay and Fossil Mensah, I think, are back in training. Bay's been out with a knee injury since pre-season. Fossil Mensah's been out with a knee injury. I think he initially sustained this knee injury whilst he was on his loan spell with Fulham. I think Diego Dalot now should be alright. He played for the youngsters last Friday, like Solskjaer confirmed. And he said from then on he should be fine, because Diego Dalot has sustained quite a few injuries this season, But yeah, Rojo, I think, is out with injury until the new year. But yeah, I'm reflecting on the amount of injuries we've had this season anyway. Solskjaer has had to make a lot of alterations in his squad. So hopefully against Newcastle we can try different formation, like I said. We need to go with a 4-3-3. We need to stop going there with that 4-2-3-1 formation, because that, doesn't seem to be working. And like I said, you've got a lot of Manchester United fans, including me as well, that are demanding Mauricio Pochettino into the football club, because I think he'd do really, really well at Man United if he was to be recommended in. And I think, he's totally a comparison to Solskjaer. And Pochettino is a better manager than Solskjaer. He's a better manager than Solskjaer. He's well Premier League proven. He enjoyed a good 5.5 years at Tottenham. The only element of concern I've got about him is that, he hasn't won out in terms of silverware. But prior to that, I think he's a very, very good manager. Mauricio Pochettino managed 293 games in all competitions for Tottenham, and won 159. So he won over 100 games for Tottenham. He won around 113 of his games in the Premier League out of around 202 in the Premier League. He did well at Tottenham though. He progressed them to the Champions League final last season for the first time ever. He's got them a couple of third place finishes. Finished fifth and got them to the League Cup final. This was in his first season where he finished fifth and got them to the League Cup final. I think he got them runners up a couple of years ago. But he's actually a very, very good manager. He's Pochettino, and I think wouldn't have to pay anything now to recommend him in. But we need to get Pochettino in now, because obviously there isn't only Man United that are linked to him. There's been talks about him going to Bayern Munich. They haven't got a manager at the moment. They've got someone in on an interim basis. Obviously there's been talks about him going to Real Madrid. But don't forget, there was reports emerging out before the game against Tottenham saying that Pochettino had revealed that the next club he wants to manage is Manchester United. But I think if he came to Man United, Pochettino, he can replicate, what he did do with Tottenham. In total, Pochettino has managed 2 Premier League clubs. Tottenham for 5.5 years or 5 years. He managed Southampton. He enjoyed a really short tenure with Southampton. He actually progressed Southampton to their highest ever finish. Before that, of course, he was Espanyol. Pochettino has been managing for just over 10 years, because he began his managerial career in 2009. But don't forget, we was in for Pochettino after the sacking of Jose Mourinho. He was actually our primary candidate. But like I've said on numerous occasions, our preference was Solskjaer over him, because obviously we just seen it as, Solskjaer knows, the club inside out and that. Obviously, it was a cheaper solution. We didn't really have to pay that much to Mold to recommend him in, and plus he did really, really well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. But if we do sack Solskjaer, and Pochettino hasn't got another job by then I think it's very imminent he will be our next manager, Mauricio Pochettino. But I think his philosophy is good. He's got that winning mentality, and I think, he'd suit the Shappens of the football club if he was to come in, Pochettino. That's my perception on that. But obviously, you've still got Ed Woodward that's still determined to stand by Solskjaer. You've got the players, the vast majority of our players that are willing to keep faith in him. You've got, the board that are backing him, and obviously, their perceptions are totally comparison to mine and a lot of Manchester United fans, because the vast majority of Man United fans are demanding him out at the football club and all that. Your preview for the Man United Newcastle game is coming up. It should be here today. Actually, it will be here today. I presume what he'll be doing his press conference today, Solskjaer, or will it be tomorrow? Actually, on Christmas Day, I will go and check that out. Newcastle isn't going to be an easy game. You know, Newcastle, of course, are level on points with us. You know, they're on 25 points after, 18 games. You know, they're 9th in the league. I think we're just above them on goal difference. We're just above them on goal difference, you know, Newcastle. And we lost to them earlier on this season. The game at Old Trafford last season was 3-2. You know, obviously, you know, we came back from a 2-goal deficit. So we showed good determination to come back in that game. Newcastle, of course, last time out beat Palace 1-0. They were very, very lucky to win that because I thought Crystal Palace was all over them. You know, obviously, I think, you know, Steve Bruce, as you know, elevated them forward. Newcastle, you know, he's done quite well. Obviously, you know, Newcastle appointed Steve Bruce in the summer because obviously, you know, Rafa Benitez had resigned in the summer, you know, so yeah. So it is on Boxing Day. It is a 5:30 kickoff at Old Trafford, you know, like I said. And then obviously we've got Burnley 2 days later, Arsenal on New Year's Day, Wolves coming up in the FA Cup. So games are coming up thick fast. But we've got to start winning games, definitely. You know, we've got to try and get as many points as we can. Got to try and get as many points as you can. And I've got to say the league's over now. You know, I think Liverpool are going to win the league. You know, they're on course to win their first ever Premier League title. They haven't won it all in all for 30 years. You know, they've won obviously, you know, 18 old first divisions. You know, but I think they're definitely going to win it. They are too far in front. I think, they're 10 points in front of Leicester. Liverpool have got Leicester coming up. They play Leicester on Boxing Day, actually. You know, 10 points in front of Leicester, you know, 11 points in front of Man City. But, you know, there's still a long way to go. There's still, around 20 games to go. So, we're actually, you know, we're halfway through the season after the games on Boxing Day, as you all know. So, the main part of this video was to give you the latest news regarding De Gea. Do you think, you know, he should be dropped? Do you think Romero should be giving him a chance in that? I'd like to know in your comments below. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, like, on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.